everyone! Thanks for joining my very first YouTube video, where I'm going to show you how to make a bunch of quick and easy cards using a 6x6 one-sheet wonder template. Today, we're going to be using a card kit that I got in the mail recently from the Stamps of Life. This is the November 2017 card kit. Inside, you can see it comes with an idea card, a few spools of ribbon, a number of different pieces of embellishment. It includes stamps, paper pads, dies, all the accessories that you'll need to make some beautiful cards. Their paper pads are 24 double-sided sheets, as you can see flipping through there. And it comes with this great storage folder, a bunch of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and envelopes for you to mail your cards. This kit happened to have a piece of foam as well. Just going to throw that stuff back in there and then decide what I'm going to use. But I am going to use this entire kit to make all the cards you see today. Just going to start by looking through this 6x6 paper pad to see which style I want to get. For what I'm going to do with the template today, I do want to make sure that I choose a piece that is not a matter which way that I turn it. So I did decide to go with the stars. If we went with the frogs or something like that, as you can see when I use it a little bit later, they'd be sideways. So you just want to be thoughtful about using a piece that will allow for you to turn the paper. Now I'm just going through the 8.5 by 11 sheets to decide what coordinating color cardstock I want to use for these cards. Getting a couple of other accessories together that I know that I'm going to use throughout the video. And of course you'll need some white cardstock to make your card bases. So I'm going to end up making 4 cards today, and I've in total used 3 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, 2 white, the 1 blue solid, and the 1 6x6 pattern paper. So right now I'm just creating my card bases, cutting my 8.5 by 11 cardstock in half, and folding each of those. And I'll make 4 card bases to start. Using my handy dandy silhouette scorer so that I can get good folds on those cards. And that's all done. That was quick and easy. Now I'm going to use that 6x6 template that I showed at the beginning to go ahead and cut this one piece of paper into 4 different sizes so that I'm going to use in each of the cards. The first cut is a 2-inch, and then I turn the paper and do another 2-inch, and then I take that last square that's currently a 4x6 and slice that guy right in half. And as you can see, as I put it back together, it's that full 6x6 sheet that we started with, and we're going to use almost all of those pieces on our 4 cards today. You're going to end up with very little scrap when you're done with this. Now I'm going to take this other 8.5 by 11 sheet, and I'm just going to cut this guy into 4s, and they are going to be the fronts of my cards. So although I have that white card base for the inside sentiments, what you're going to see on the outside is a solid blue with the pattern cardstock and the embellishments that I choose to use. So we're going to go ahead and get started then with card number 1, and I'm going to take my first piece of my pattern cardstock and decide where I want to put it on here. And I noticed that it was a little bit bigger, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't cut it wrong, which is why you see me holding it up to the card there. And I didn't, but this is the very first piece and only one of 2 scraps that you're going to create using this layout. So very little waste, which we all know, all of us scrapbookers and card makers really enjoy and not have to waste any paper. So then I'm going to start on my second card, and I'm going to take that long piece and put it along the left-hand side and cut off that other little scrap piece that hung over. Take my third card, and this is going to be more of a triangle on the corner. get some glue on there. Got a little bendy, so I had to fix that. And do my last triangle on the next card. Now these two cards look like they're going to end up being the same, but when you see how we use them a little bit later, you'll see that they do end up looking different. We're going to turn them. So those are those 4 base cards that we have going. Now we're going to start to add some of our embellishments. So I'm going to look at this ribbon, and there were 2 ribbons that came in the card kit with me. So I pull out the green one to see if I like this one better. And although I do like the color of the green, I think it's just a little too thin. So I'm going to stick with the blue and get that down on each of these 4 cards. So I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to this. Not all of the ribbons are perfectly straight, but I really don't mind that. So just go ahead and tack down the ribbon on both the front and throughout the back, and I'm just cutting it down a little bit so that it doesn't stick over into the front of my card. And we will adhere that a little bit better later on when we go to put that card down on the card base. We'll pull out our second card and add some more ribbon. Obviously, these are all very similar, but we're going to give them all to different people so everyone can enjoy them. But they can be a little bit similar, but it makes it easy and quick for us to put together 4 really beautiful cards using very little paper. And tack those 2, and then we'll do our last one and get that ribbon on there. Made that one a little long, so just going to trim that down. Do want it to fold over so that it covers, but I don't want to have too much excess on the back of the card because it does create height on the card. So just want to be thoughtful. All right, there we go. So we have 4 card bases going with our 6x6 cutout and our ribbon embellishments. And now we're going to go ahead and start to get our sentiments stamped. So this kit had came with 4 stamps in the sentiment. Smile, you are loved a lot. Hello, lovely. Hope you have a beautiful day. And then also one that I didn't use, yay, it's your birthday. So I'm just going ahead and getting my stamps ready. And I'll stamp 4 sentiments right away so we can get them all ready for these 4 cards. I did choose to use the hope you have a beautiful day twice since it's a more generic sentiment. And if you do not have one of these Sizzix stamp pads, they are amazing. I struggled for a long time with making sure that I was getting a good stamp on my images, and I got this pad, and I just love it. My handy dandy stays on ink, also one of my favorite types of ink to use, and it smells amazing. So I went ahead and stamped those as you've seen, and we're going to get them cut out. I have these rectangular dies, and you will see, hopefully in the video it picks it up, these dies do have a stitched edge, and I thought it matched really well with the stitching on the ribbon. Just trying to determine the size that I want, and I am going with a little bit bigger size just because I just like a little bit more white around it. What I did realize is I probably stamped a little bit close to the edge, but I still was able to get that in there. Thank goodness that I didn't have to restamp them. So I'm just going to go ahead and run these 4 stamped images through my Sizzix and get them die cut out so I have them all ready to go. And my mat was moving around on me quite a bit, so that Sizzix was kind of hard to push through. These particular dies are honestly just generic dies that I bought off of Amazon. I don't necessarily recommend that. They're a little bit thicker than some of your higher quality dies, but at the time that I bought them, I wasn't really sure if I was going to end up being a big die cutter stamper or not, and I just wanted to get a couple of universal ones, so that's where those come from. But now that I do this a little bit more often, I do really enjoy some of the higher quality, better products that I can get from a number of our vendors. So we got all 4 of our sentiments stamped out. I'm going to go ahead and bring my cards back in front of me and determine which way and how I want to lay these cards, and then start to organize the sentiments on there as well. For these sentiments, I did want to have them popped up a little bit, so I did use 3D dots on the back of the sentiments. Just pop 2 pop dots on those so that they sit up a little bit higher on the card. I do like that look on a card, and also so that it helped to account for the ribbon, the height of the ribbon. If I would have tried to put them flat on the card, you would have seen that bump through the sentiment on the front, so I do think that using the pop-up dots does help a little bit with that as well. So I'll just go ahead and finish putting these sentiments on these cards, and then we'll be able to adhere really what is almost the finished product onto our card base. There we go. Just clean up my workstation a little bit and grab my 4 card bases that I made a little bit earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and put tape runner around all 4 edges, and as you can see, I'm going right over that ribbon to help hold that down. We did tack it onto the back when we wrapped it around, but I want to go right over that with that adhesive so that it stays down and doesn't pop out from the back of that card. That one I ran over a little bit, got a little bumpy. Again, you're already having a little bit of height being raised there with that being on the back, so wanted to make sure that we got that adjusted. This one gave me a little bit of trouble, as you can see, so I had to lift it up a little bit and reposition it. The cardstock that comes in these kits, though, is super thick and really good quality, so the adhesive is very sticky, but I had to lift it back up, and it did start to tear on the back a little bit, but nothing evident on the front. This card also decided to give me a little bit of trouble, and it was a little bit, I must not have been perfect in my cutting, which is typical for me, and it was hung a little bit over, so I tried to cut it with my cutting blade, but I must need a blade sharpening. So I just took my scissors along the top and cut off that little bit of excess, and then also along the white side of the card. I am far from perfect when it comes to making these things, but that's what makes them so fun and beautiful and people love, because they are homemade and you can tell. So go ahead and adhere my last card front to my 4 cards, and you really could stop there. That was everything that was in the card kit. However, I wanted to add a little bit more pop to these cards, so I did go ahead and grab my Nuvo drops. I have a number of Nuvo colors of the Nuvo drops. Not sure what color I wanted to use, so I just put some samples out on that little piece of scrap that I had, and gonna decide from there which ones I want to choose. My black must have not been used for a little while. It got a little gunked up, so I do have to take a second here and just clean out that tip. Luckily, I have some needles on my desk, and I was just able to kind of poke through and get that old stuff out of there, and then there we go, we started flowing again. So just deciding, it's kind of hard to see, but that one is a really darker blue, and then of course you can see the light blue, and then I have the black. I did end up deciding to go with the black. I didn't want the blue on the blue, so I just went with the black Nuvo drops. So I'm going ahead here and just adding these drops just to give the cards a little something extra. Like many of us, I do like things in odd numbers. So I did 3 Nouveau drops on some of the corners. On the one with the smile, maybe because it's where I positioned it, I just didn't feel like I needed the extra drops on there. So I just skipped that one. And there you go. In a very short period of time and very little product, I went ahead and made 4 super quick and easy cards. I hope you enjoyed our video today. If you did, go ahead and give us a like. Feel free to subscribe to our channel and check us out on Facebook. I'd like to also thank the Stamps of Life for the card kit that we used today, and I teach stamping for our One Sheet Wonder 6x6 template.